Hi, this is James, and I am back after my EP for the 5-year anniversary of an album I absolutely love, Notes on a Conditional Form. So this is going to be like a normal video that I do where I like talk about like a topic. This is just kind of me praising an album. And the reason why, I mean, it's a 5-year anniversary. I don't know if that actually means anything for music, but it reminded me to re-listen this morning, and it reminds me why I love this band and why I love this album specifically and why it's so influential to me. And I want to begin by saying this is a long album. Like, it is way too long, but not real. I mean, like, if you love the songs, it's not too long, you know, but it's 22 songs and it covers a wide variety. And I normally don't like long albums. I'm a big believer in like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, even less. Like the new Pink Pantheress EP, loved. Last Pink Pantheress album I liked. I mean, it was all short. And like, there's a lot of other examples of short albums that I love. But yeah, this is kind of an exception. And it's weird because normally the only times I grant exceptions to this is for like artists that have truly earned it. And while this band has earned it for me, I can see why someone wouldn't want to merit them 22 songs worth of their time. Stevie Wonder with like Songs in the Key of Life, that's a long project, but you grant him that because of what he's done before makes you trust him for that length of time. Same with Prince. Sign of the Times is my favorite Prince album. That's a really long album. That's a long Prince album, but it works because you trust him based on his previous work. And that's why with this band, it's like you kind of have to really buy in to the band, you know? And like, obviously there's a lot of stuff that happens outside the music that people like to talk about with this band. I'm not going to touch on that. Regardless, I love this album so much. I want to compare it to something happening right now. I want to compare it to the 2024-25 Pacers team. This album has depth. It is a deep album. There's a lot of great songs. I believe it's perfect. I understand why someone might not, but you can't deny the sheer quantity of songs. There is a depth to the songs that like are good. I can see someone not liking all of them, but I feel like most people when listening would still have like 15 or 16 songs that they really like, or just at the very least enjoy if you like this type of music. And I should clarify the type of music does span like a large variety of genres in the sense of it covers like ambient, electronic, indie rock, pop, even goes like electro pop, it kind of everything in between, alternative. There's some ballads on here, acoustic singer-songwriter stuff. And that's just like an insane feat as an artist, right? To be able to do. Like that's something not a lot of artists are able to do actually well. Like you see a lot of artists like try where they give a whole album, like Lil Wayne doing the rock album, or like Cudi doing a rock album, or even with like outside of that, like you saw with like you can argue that like Zeppelin doing In Through the Outdoor was like their attempt at like a true pop album, or you know what I mean, like stuff like that. This is just so weird because it feels like just a combination of everything that they've done before that they were successful at while still doing like committing harder into it, like committing harder into a slow acoustic ballad like you've heard before on other projects, like with songs like Nana or like, you know, but like it's not the same as tracks, you know, like Playing on My Mind, or even Jesus Christ 2005 God Bless America, which has an insane feature from Phoebe Bridgers, which I should add, Phoebe needs to release new music. I'm sure she's working on it, but I know she's not going to see this. In my opinion, this is the best Phoebe sounds, is when she's in the stripped back acoustic setting. I don't like when she has like electronic stuff around her. I don't think that's a good idea. I just don't think it sounds good. It doesn't sound right with her delivery. I think that's a big part of this, is each song, like the delivery is entirely different. Because you begin with this ambient track that has Greta Thunberg like talking, like, or having a speech over it about climate. It's actually really good. Like, you know, I'm not someone, I don't like dislike her. I'm kind of, you know, whatever. But you know, I feel like this is a very strong, good speech. You've probably heard sections of it like cannibalizing like other like clips of her. And but it goes straight from that into like their most punk song that's like People, which is just like a political classic punk, like old punk, almost like I don't even know, like almost like the Buzzcocks in a weird sort of way. It's like that, but kind of mixed with just some like basic political power pop. It's still very poppy. It's not like that dark, which is why I kind of want to compare it to the Buzzcocks a little bit in a weird sort of way. And then it goes straight from that into like more ambient, and then it goes into like this like, I know it's called like IDM sometimes, like intellectual dance music or whatever, with like Frail State of Mind. And like, this is such a creative project. This is creative on all fronts, and I want to give a lot of credit to George Daniel, who produces this album. He's also the drummer, and he contributes to the writing sometimes, but this is very much just like a George project. It feels like that a lot of times, except for the very stripped back songs, which feel very Maddie. This is a project that's like, I think if you're a producer, you can really get a lot out of this. There's a lot of experimentation, but in a way that's still very pop friendly and accessible, which is something that's just not often done in this genre. Which is like, when there's experimentation, it's almost this like betrayal of their original pop stylings. But this still holds on to that while still doing different things, or things that aren't traditionally done in a pop landscape. I just want to talk about my favorite stretch real quick. The stretch on this album from the birthday party, and I love every song, but the stretch from the birthday party to Playing on My Mind is like, to me, a perfect project. Any of those songs, I feel like it would be at the top of my favorites of a lot of other artists' discography if you like were to place them there. I don't know how to fully articulate it because I enjoy these songs so much from that stretch, because it not only covers everything. Like, you have songs like Roadkill on there, which is like this country poppy thing, but it still works and it feels more earnest than a lot of pop country. Like, it's more harkening back to like outlaw country in a weird sort of way. You also have, like, at the same time, something like I Think There's Something You Should Know, which is just like a very, like, almost, I don't even know how to fully describe it. It's very kind of Brian Eno in a weird sort of way. It's very Aphex Twin, but at the same time being something that like could have been written by just like Max Martin. Yeah, then something as confessional as Nothing Revealed, Everything Denied, which, I mean, that track's just incredible. I think that's the most honest Maddie has been up until that point. I think he gets even more just like genuine on being funny in a foreign language. But this stretch, but more specifically that song, feels like just like he's telling you something directly, one-to-one. I mean, I love this project. I think if you haven't heard it, you should give it a listen. I forgot to mention, the other reason why I think this is like the Pacers team from right now is because, and this remind me because of the game last night, but the balance between Tyrese Halliburton and Nesmith, right? Nesmith is a defensive player. He balances out someone with the fast-paced offensive mindset of Tyrese Halliburton. You also have people like Andrew Nembhard, even though he didn't really play this game, but he still did. I mean, Ben Shepherd is another player on this team. It kind of fits this mold of like the defensive balance to the offensive players like TJ McConnell, Spicy P, Tyrese Halliburton, players like that are way more offensive-minded. And yeah, I feel like that just kind of like fits the whole album of this balancing things out, making a pop song like If You're Too Shy Then Let Me Know, and then following that up with Playing on My Mind. Thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe, I don't know, leave a comment asking me my thoughts on this album. What do you think about it? Listen to my EP that's been out. Yeah, listen to it.